City Councilman Kevin Kelly, and I hope that that geography test is actually a local geography test, doesn't involve questions about the capital of Kurdistan or anything like that. And as somebody who recently picked up a friend at Cleveland at CLE just 2 nights ago, and I usually, you know, I know the way back east, but I don't know the way back to go west from there. I really hope you guys are going to figure that out, because I got so lost trying to get on 480, and then after I got on 480, but that's a whole other story. We're going to take a short break right now, 5 minutes or so. The women's restroom is right there. The men's is behind the curtain over here, I believe, or is it just around here? It's right over here. And then we'll be back. I hope you have lots of questions. I have a few, but I'm going to table them for your questions. So we'll be back in 5 minutes. Is Khalid coming back?
He's in and out because he's also managing.
Oh, there he is. Okay. Okay, Khalid, you're not allowed to go anywhere. You know that? No. Okay, good. All right. Are we on? We're on. And welcome to I feel like I should say welcome to the City Club's traditional question and answer period. This is our chance to get your questions answered. Again, to answer those questions, if it's about the city of Cleveland and Hopkins and or Burke, we have Steve Nagy and Khalid Bahar and Ricky Smith to answer those questions. If it's about Cuyahoga County Airport, Kevin Delaney's here. If it's about the City Council, Cleveland City Council's Aviation Committee, Kevin Kelly, but I don't know that there's going to be that many questions for you, Councilman. But who knows? Who knows? We can always hold out hope. But starting off, I think Councilman Matt Zone of the City of Cleveland had a question. Matt, what's the question?
Dan, there's been talk about future of Burke, future of the county airport, and I'd like to know from the people in the industry, let's say we assume an airport was to close down. How hard is it, and what's the direct impact on a region? And are air permits, is that something that's easily granted if somebody wanted to start a new airport particularly in an urban region?
So you have two questions there. What would be the impact if say Burke were to be closed or the county airport were to be closed? And then and if that were to happen, or if later somebody wanted to open a new airport, how would that happen and what's the feasibility? And well, let's take the first question, and Ricky Smith, or would you care to answer that one? Thank you.
I'll take a stab, and without looking at him, my chief of plant engineering knows that I'm looking at him. He'll weigh in as well. Assuming, and that's the big question here, assuming one of the airports were to close down, and then there's some idea of opening another airport, that would be an enormous undertaking. First, the whole idea of shutting an airport down would require a significant argument before the FAA in terms of why you would want to shut down what they deem to be the most important asset in the area. Any of the airports the FAA would deem would be very important assets. You have to understand that all of these airports are part of well, most of them anyway, the ones we're talking about, are part of a national airport system that the federal government has invested in intentionally, and any disruption to that system, if you will, they'll take very seriously. So first of all, the idea of shutting down an airport will come with considerable pushback from the FAA, and that pushback will be intensified if the aftermath is the idea of opening yet another airport. That really begs the question, why close an airport in the beginning? So in terms of the impact on our local air system, I think it's been well documented that that anytime you either reduce service at Burke, or if you were to shut down Burke Lakefront Airport, it would have an enormous impact on Cleveland Hopkins. We're trying to move the small birds away from Cleveland Hopkins, not encourage them to go there because it slows down the traffic. If you can just think about traffic jams on the highway, well, that's really what you'd have at Cleveland Hopkins. There may be some questions as to whether or not, and I'll let Kevin, he can speak to this better than I can, but there may be some questions as to whether or not the county airport could handle that additional capacity right now. There'd have to be some effort to bring more capacity to that airport to assume the traffic that we have here at Burke Lake Airfront and the traffic we would have at Burke Lake Lakefront Airport if the airport is operating at full capacity. But I rambled a little bit, but he can fill the gaps, and Kevin obviously wanted to say something.